Hey, and welcome to the Vanika Lewis Show. I am so excited that you are lending your ears to me for this short period of time. I believe that every day is another day to do life right. And that's exactly what we talk about here on this show. So buckle up your seatbelts and let's get ready to dig into another episode. Hey, faith friends, I'm so glad that you are listening in on today. Hey, if you are like me, then that means that you went to church yesterday because it was Easter Sunday and everybody goes to church on Easter Sunday. And you're probably a little bit tired today and kind of get your groove back after being excited at church and then eating a good meal with your family. It can just be an exhausting Sunday. And I thought about maybe holding back and not sharing this podcast on today, but I was convicted because there was something that was placed on my heart to share with you all this week, and I can't let it go. So this week, I really wanted to focus on the whole being. There are 3 particular things that I'm going to be sharing with you this week as I talk about the whole being and really kind of getting better in every area of your life. And those 3 things are health, wealth, and relationships. Health, wealth, and relationships. I personally believe that if we can excel at those 3 things, then we're excelling in life. And so I want to take this week to really talk specifically about those 3 things. Today, I'm going to start with wealth, and I'm going to talk to you about the power of saving. But I'm not just going to teach to you about the power of saving. I'm going to keep it real because that's what I do. Y'all know I keep it 100. So I'm going to keep it real with you and share with you why saving is so important and how I learned that lesson. So in order for you to get this, I got to take you back to some of my bad habits. And so I've not always been a great saver. And if you've listened to my other podcasts, you know that I've not always been a great financial steward. But saving was something that was particularly hard for me. And it was because I would put a little bit of money aside, but I would end up using it to buy things that I wanted. And here's a perfect example. I would know that I maybe had a trip coming up that I wanted to take, or I would start saving for Christmas for my girls, and I'd set up an envelope, or I'd set up, a little savings account, because I would actually open up savings accounts. But I would see it hit like $50 and I'd start thinking, you know what? I could resave this $50 later. Right now, I want this pair of shoes. Or right now, I want to go out to dinner. Or right now, I want to go do something else. And I would end up spending the money and thinking that I can accumulate it again later. And what would happen is the thing that I was supposed to be saving for would be quickly approaching and I would have nothing. I mean, you all, it was so bad that my family knew that I was typically going to be a little bit late picking up my girls from them after work because I would stop and shop on my way home from work. And I wasn't out blowing a whole bunch of money. I'd be like, oh, who's having a good sale? Where can I go get something off the clearance rack? But if I'm buying something at $10 every day of the week, a shirt, something like that, that's $50 a week that's gone. It's just blown. And so in turn, what would happen is I was not good at saving because I was so good at spending. Well, over time, I really began to understand that saving is important because it helps you have good control and good ethics, which is in turn a good steward. It helps you build up being good in regards to money management. Well, there's a show that I love to watch, and it's Shark Tank. And I remember one particular episode, Kevin O'Leary, you all know him if you watch Shark Tank. Kevin O'Leary was really getting on one of the people presenting because they were not good stewards of their business. And he was telling them that he did not want to invest in them, that he wasn't going to make a deal with them because they weren't good at managing their money. And they didn't understand what he was saying. And here's how he broke it down to them. He said that he sees every dollar as a soldier. And he said, my soldiers are not supposed to go onto the battlefield and die. My soldiers are supposed to take captives and bring them back to me. And it struck a light bulb for me. I was like, wow, that's an amazing way to think about money. And essentially what he was saying is, my dollars have to have a purpose and they have to have an assignment. And if each of my dollars, aka soldiers, are simply going out and dying, he said, my army is eliminated. My bank account is empty. So if you are being wise with your money, you are managing your money with the idea that every dollar has an assignment or a task. And it really turned on a light bulb for me because I had never thought about money in that way. Money flowed in one hand and out the other for me. And it's just kind of how I always saw life. I didn't mind using up credit. I didn't mind being in debt. I just didn't. I got comfortable there. And when I began to understand that dollars are little soldiers, I began to realize that I was not being mindful of how I spent my money. Now, it took a while for that theory to begin to really come alive in me. And I remember then listening to Dave Ramsey, which I've mentioned before. And he also talks about how every dollar has an assignment. And when you're creating a budget, you need to think ahead and make sure that every dollar has an assignment. It's doing what you're telling it to do. There should never come a day where you look back and you can't recognize where your money went because you just spent it frivolously. And so kind of hearing them two talk about money awoke something in me. And then came my husband, you all. Thank God for my husband. He's an amazing saver. He's an amazing financial steward. He is just brilliant when it comes to financial planning and financial management. And so he began to really teach me. And so through the culmination of learning from all three of them, I really reached a point where I've become so much better with managing my money. But again, my point today is really around saving and why saving is so important. And I'll tell you why saving is so important. Because if you're not managing your money well, it means that you are also a procrastinator. So here's some things that would happen to me, similar to like I just said. I would know that a trip was coming up, or I needed to maybe buy school clothes, or again, I'd be preparing for Christmas gifts. And because I did not save enough and I'd spent so much along the way, when it came time for me to go on that trip to buy those school clothes, get those Christmas presents, a lot of times I was not paying a bill, or I was using money that was really already allocated for something else to make up for my lack of saving. And I was constantly in a hole, robbing Peter to pay Paul. And it was because I had not looked ahead and planned ahead. And so what saving has allowed me to do is to be prepared for what I know is coming. So if I know for a fact that I'm going to be taking a vacation next year, I don't need to wait until 2 months before the vacation to start paying for it. I should actually start saving now so that when it's time for me to pay, I'm paying and I'm not having to use money that's allocated for other bills or things. And so this works in every other area of your life. And here's how I want to break it down for you numbers wise, okay? So using the vacation, sticking with that example, let's say you have a vacation planned for next year and it's $1,200. So $1,200 to someone who's not been a good steward of money and who feels overwhelmed, that number seems unobtainable. You're like, $1,200, I don't know if I could do that. But you want to go on that vacation so bad that you commit to going on the vacation. And if you take a step back from the bigger picture and start to think, okay, $1,200 is a lot of money, but how can I get there? How can I get there without waiting till the last minute? You'll recognize that $1,200 next year, a year from now, breaks down to $100 a month or $25 a week, or check this out, $3.30 a day. $3.30 a day is way less intimidating than thinking about the $1,200 expense that is going to be due next year. And so you tend to, with saving, when you get good at it, you break down the big goal into bite-sized pieces. You remember my episode, right, where I talked about eating the elephant one bite at a time? Well, it's the same thing with saving. And so that's what you want to do. Here's the thing. When I begin to think about $3.30 a day, that's a cup of coffee. I can manage that. It doesn't bother me, and it doesn't overwhelm me. Ultimately, though, a vacation's not the only thing I need to save for. Maybe I'm saving up at the same time for a special birthday that's coming up, or a graduation, or there's just something else that you have that you know is going to be coming up. I'll tell you one thing that catches a lot of people off guard 2 times a year. You know what it is? Car registration and paying to get your taxes done. Don't you play with me. You know those 2 things catch people off guard every year. And I don't know why, because we know it's coming. You know when your registration is due every year, and you know when your taxes are due every year. But because you haven't been a good steward, it catches you off guard every year. Well, you don't have to be that way. If you begin to plan now for next year, you'll be ready and you'll be prepared, and it will not stress you out. So here's what helped me get into a position where I began to think smaller scale for bigger picture, and I was able to start saving money without it being a temptation for me. And I'm going to tell you, this thing that I did is recent, you all. I did it within the last couple of months, and it has helped me so much that I've already met my goal on 2 things in just over a month. And so it is the real deal, and I'm not lying to you. It's an app called Digit. Write that down. It's an app called Digit. What Digit does is you put in your bank account information, and the app links to your bank account. And then you, in the app, set goals. So right now, my goals are, and you know this if you follow me on Facebook, my goals are a rainy day fund. I have vacation and travel expenses that I'm saving for. I have a special birthday gift that I'm saving for. And then I'm saving for a special gift for my daughter for graduation next year. And so what I've done within the app is I've said these are 4 things that I need to save for. I set due dates, so you can tell the app when you need to accomplish the savings goal. And then you put in an amount. You tell the app how much you need to save for each item. And then without you doing anything else, the app pays attention to your spending habits, and it takes small increments of money and it saves it for you. So I don't have to physically put money in an envelope and worry about it tempting me while I'm driving around. The app saves it for me. It's also brilliant because it does it in small increments, and you don't get a heart attack when you do look at your bank account. Meaning, the app does not pull $100 out at a time when you are looking and you like, child, that $100 was supposed to go towards a bill. You know, it's not shocking amounts. It does it in very small increments. Perfect example. I got gas the other day, and I believe I put $37 and some change. Let's just say I did $37.30 worth of gas in my car. When I did that, Digit actually looked at it and said, let's round that up to 40 so she doesn't miss it. And it pulled the $2.70 into the savings account. So what happens is, in my mind, when I'm looking at the bank account, it's like, oh, I spent $40 on gas, right? And now I'm not missing the $2 and something, and it's in my savings account now with Digit, going towards my goals. I'm not being tempted. I'm not being stressed out thinking about it. And each day I'm a little bit closer towards accomplishing the financial savings that I desire to. And I'm not stressed out because when those things come around, again, I'm not robbing Peter to pay Paul, because I've managed my money well enough where I've prepared ahead of time for what was coming. Now, you all, this is so simple, and you may think that this is just ridiculous, but it's not. There are so many people who are stressed out financially. They may not admit it to you, and you may not know it looking at them because they look so put together. They may be driving a new fancy car. They may go get their hair done every couple of weeks. You may see them out on vacations and you think that they have it all together, but they aren't. They're stressing behind the scenes, living paycheck to paycheck and not knowing how they're going to make ends meet. And so this is a real thing. And I know that the Lord put it on my heart to talk about wholeness, health, wealth, and relationships this week, because this is information that somebody needs to really change their life. And I know because it was so real for me. And I know I'm not the only one. So there's somebody listening to this seriously. You need to understand that every coin matters. Every coin matters, and you need to start giving your coins an assignment. Your money should not run you. You should run it. And it's time for you to start taking control over your money and managing it in a way where you aren't stressed out. So whether that is sitting down and making a budget, whether that is identifying something that you can now do without each day, like maybe you aren't buying Starbucks every day, but you're making your coffee at home every day. Whatever that is for you, you need to start doing it, because managing your money is really going to change your life. And then maybe you're like me and you just need a little bit of help. I encourage you to download the Digit app. Okay, the link is going to be in the description of this podcast. You can click on it and set your Digit up today. It is going to change your life. Give it a month. I say give it 1 month. Just try it. It makes such a difference, and you will be surprised at how much money that app saves for you. And you'll kick yourself if you're like me, thinking, how in the heck did that app just save that much money and I couldn't do it on my own? Right? But that's what they're there for. And so I just really encourage you to start being a better steward. And again, not letting your money manage you, but you manage it. Okay? Kevin O'Leary says that every dollar is a soldier. Right? It makes sense. Dave Ramsey says that every dollar has an assignment. Well, I'm here to tell you that every coin matters. Every coin matters. And while you out there hustling and earning those coins, clocking in every day, selling those t-shirts, doing those braids, making that jewelry, cleaning those houses, whatever it is that you are doing to bring coins in is time spent. And you don't want to waste your time in how you are managing your money. So as each coin comes in, you need to think about that coin, where it's going, and if it's benefiting you. Okay? Don't let your money manage you. You manage it. Every coin matters. Listen, if this was for you, again, I encourage you, check out the link to the Digit in the description for this podcast. If you aren't sure where to start after listening to this, shoot me an email. I would love to direct you to some resources that can really help you, because I desire to see you do better. Every day, literally, is a new day to do better and to do life right. You've gotten the information. Do something with it. Take care. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. If you want to find out more about who I am, check me out online at www.vanikalewis.com. And if this segment was good to you, it's going to be good to your friends. Make sure you share it with them. Also, make sure you subscribe so that you get access to episodes as soon as they're released. You want to be the first to get the newest releases from The Vanika Lewis Show. I can't wait to continue talking with you about a new day and a new opportunity to do life right. Until next time, take care. Bye.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.